We're on the 12th, myself and George. It's a dog leg left to right, par 5. And what we're going to do is take ourselves through a more kind of natural way of playing in terms of course management, using the golf course to actually help you improve your game, improve your swing. The constraints of the environment help to organise your swing for you. We've got to connect with that. Use the environment to cue our movement. So for example, I'll let George explain a tee shot here. It's a left to right shot, and how could we use this landscape, George, to drive our intention and then also our movement?
So talk about environment. It's a very rich environment to look at actually off this tee box, because we've got loads of trees lining down the left-hand side of the fairway. Starts from 180 yards away from here all the way up to about 300 and something odd yards up. So there's plenty of reference points to pick out. And as Marcus said, this swings kind of gently from left to right as you make your way down the hole, but there is also a ditch that you won't be able to see on camera. The further right you go, the further the carry is to get over that ditch.
The more it's in play.
And then you've got a big disaster area over on the right that you really don't want to find yourself in. You'll probably find your ball, but you won't have any sort of a shot really to advance it up the fairway at all. So I think already we know we just don't want to be right. That is the bad place to be on this hole. Left is not exactly great, but it's better than right. And there's lots of reference points off the left-hand side. And as we said, it's a left to right hole. So I know I'm going to be playing a fade off of this tee box. And so for me, I would say I'm going to be looking at a point on the left-hand side that I want to start this ball on, knowing that I want to shape it back into the fairway. So for me, I would be looking at a tree, probably that middle tree in the row of what we can see. I want to start my ball there and shape it off to the right from there. So I know that my swing, my face will be pointing at that tree, hopefully, when I make contact with the ball. But I know the path of my club needs to be working left of where that face is. Give me the shape to the right. And in order to sort of facilitate that and give myself the best chance, I'm probably going to tee it up on the right-hand side of this tee box, because then I can start it just down the left-hand side of the fairway and bring it back. If I tee it up on the left-hand side of this tee box, I'm taking out sort of half the fairway for me to land on, or I'm going to have to start it quite a long way left, and if I don't quite get the shape I want, I might be in a prickly predicament.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to use those trees almost like a fence. So it's like essentially on the driving range, as a right-hander, I'm on the far left-hand bay and I've got the fence of the driving range behind me on the left-hand side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing left of that fence, but I'm going to start the ball on the fence and fade it off. So I'm going to use the edge of the tee box. So I'm going to do the same as George, tee up here, and my swing. So talking about environmental cues, we've got reference points. I'm going to be swinging towards the left-hand edge of that tee box. So by teeing it up here and swinging left towards the edge of the tee box, I've already got a feel for my swing and I can commit to this direction.
Shot.
That's it.
Lovely. As described, that one. It's going to be tough for me to get past that, but actually the kind of purpose of this video, right, is using your environment to inform your decision making and your swing. And notice for how long Marcus and I have been talking about all of this stuff before he's actually played the shot. You're not necessarily going to explicitly go through this process every time. Marcus and I are just explaining here and now. These kind of calculations and considerations would take us 5, 6 seconds walking up to a tee box.
This is generally, I mean, most of you know your courses so well, you probably know what shot you're going to play before you even get there. But a lot of the processing and decision making is done before you even get to the actual tee box. So you're walking up, you're chatting to your mates, but take that time to start thinking about the shot, being mindful of the weather. Through experience, this is like very quick decision making matched with the action. What a shot. Shot, George.
Yeah, take that one.
Similar decision making, obviously different ways of doing it, different swings, even different cueing in terms of the landmarks. George was looking at different reference points to me, but essentially we're doing the same thing and we're getting a very similar outcome and we're managing our games around the course. That's essentially just a little bit of an insight into how we do it, but you've got to find your own way. These are just suggestions into how you can actually form a pre-shot routine that is time efficient, no one's waiting for you for ages, it's positive, it's got a flow, there's a purpose to it, all the way through. And if you do it time and time again, it just becomes a habit, and not questioning yourself, hesitating, that kind of over the ball. Am I doing this? Am I doing that? How many times do you stand over a golf ball and start thinking, am I gripping it right? Am I aiming right? Are my feet right? And your attention is getting shifted all over the place, and you're thinking of a million and one things. And it's just taking you further and further away from the golf shot and connecting with the environment and using this as the cue instead of internalising some kind of computational model. It's kind of just let yourself react. That's what you train for. So as I mentioned earlier on the driving range, take yourself to the end bays and use that fence as a barrier, as a guide, as a reference to swing towards and move the ball away, and then maybe even go to the other side. So, not very happy.
You might have got an odd bounce off the fairway.
Positively sad with this one, but there's always an opportunity, you see, wherever you are. I can play through the trees here into the fairway, and I've got to say, if I was playing a competition or playing a serious game, I'm probably going to go that way. Just bump a little 6-iron through the semi-rough into the fairway, leave myself with about 160, 150, and I can see the green, and you just take your medicine. I could play this way, but then I've got a big tree to go over. This just brings in too much error. But it's not a competition, and it's
well, that's why he thinks.
So I'm going to go with the Hollywood shot.
What club do you want, boss?
3-wood, please. We've got about probably 220, 230, but the 3-wood with the cut, it's going to take yardage off it. Now, this is a very tricky shot. The ball's above my feet as well, so it's not lending itself towards the cut shot, but I'm still not going to be put off by that. So I'm going to play essentially what I did off the tee. I'm going to be aiming left. Now, my swing is going to be going left of that tee box. So the green staff are out there today, and there's a green marker there, a yardage marker on the tee box there, and I'm going to be swinging left of that with a face that's open to it, and that's going to hopefully start the ball left of this big tree that's hanging over there, and I can cut it. I've just got to get a massive slice basically.
Yeah. So where you're talking about starting the ball, just for your reference and information, is probably 55 odd yards left of where the pin is on that green.
The flag's there, I'm going this way, and I'm going to be swinging left of that. All I've got to make sure I do is keep that face open. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure the club is lagging behind my hands. So I'm just making sure that I keep turning the body. That's keeping the hands ahead of the club head, so it keeps the club head open to the path it's swinging on. And just commit and let it go later. And see if I can get that slice without killing the green staff. He doesn't realise how much danger is in this lad.
That's such a fantastic shot, Marcus. Wow. I didn't see it down, but it should be very good.
Yeah, I mean, I played it perfect. I don't know where it's finished, but it was like absolutely just inside where I wanted to be. And I put such, I mean, look at my path there. Look where that's going. Look, there's an element of luck to this shot as well. It's an educated
But
guess at the end of the day.
sometimes, if you think how he explained what he was about to do, sometimes you create your own luck, because to be fair, he's actually just executed exactly what he intended to do. So, okay, there might be a little bit of luck, but there was a lot of skill in there as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's come off. I'd be over the moon with that. Well, I am. But if I was playing a competition, I mean, that would be if that was match play, and that was your opponent who's just done that, you'd be.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of the fairway like George is. Not quite the same scenario now, so let's see how he gets on.
215. 215. Little gap wedge, I say. In reality, I'm going with a 4-iron. You don't want to go at this flag, basically. It is tucked on the back right of this green. It is a 2-tier green, quite a steep bank in the middle of it. But where that flag is, it's directly over some pretty big trees. And there is a bunker about 2 yards to the right of it. So in terms of letting that inform my shot, I'm absolutely going to fade this. I don't want to dice with death on that bunker and try and draw it in there. But also, I'm not going at the flag here. I'm wanting to start it maybe left side of the green, hopefully let it drift back to somewhere in the middle of the green. And if that happens and I two-putt from there, that would be a birdie, so I'd be very happy with that. I also don't know where Marcus is. He might have actually landed it in the hole. That shot was so good. And as Marcus said with his last shot, I definitely want to feel a face open to a path, but not quite as much as Marcus just did, because he was intending to hit a slice pretty much.
Oh, you had the shape.
Yeah, and I've got it all sorts of wrong really. Way open face. Essentially, I could feel it as soon as I was striking the ball. I could feel that that face was far more open to the path than I wanted, which meant it actually started where I wanted it to finish and faded off, and now I've probably got a death shot to contend with.
Look at this for a result.
Oh yeah, it's in the shadow.
Here we go. Like I said, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. Couldn't have played any better, to be honest. So I've left myself a perfect place. Got a chance of two-putting and really putting the pressure on George, because George has carved his off. But you know what this game's like. You can never discount anything, because George has got some short game skills in his locker.
Also, is this now a competition? I thought it wasn't a competition when he was talking through his shot earlier.
You see, yeah, you've got to create that false sense of security, a bit of kidology, and it's always a competition, you know that, George.
Well, that's actually what I said back there. I've got away with one there I think I just clipped a back branch of one of the trees I was trying to go over, and it's just dropped me down, but it's dropped me down in a great place considering it wasn't exactly the shot I was trying to play.
Often we play golf, right, you know, we always think about the unlucky thing, the unlucky results. This could go unnoticed, you just carry on playing, oh, I have hit a shot, and you carry on to the green, but actually, it's a good break this, but it's only a good break as well if you know how to take advantage of it. Oh, what a shot. That is one hell of a golf shot.
And I'm pretty happy with that one, yeah. A little bit right, but that is being picky. I'm about a yard right of where I really wanted to be, and I'll have a putt for birdie.
We all love to see that, George. Well done. well played there, sir.
Well, we haven't finished yet.
I've got a chance here to put some pressure on George for the 4. Obviously, the intention is always to hole it, but the probability is slim. So I'm just looking at getting this ball close to the hole, 2-tier green. I've got to take into consideration it's left to right, and the first kind of part of the tier here, it's quite heavy left to right, and then it's going to level off. So I'm picturing this, it's almost like a double breaking putt. I'm thinking of it as 2 putts really. I'm thinking of it as a putt to the top and then a putt from the top to the hole. So I'm not thinking of this as a whole putt, it's 2 putts. So that's why I went onto the top tier first, and I imagined the putt from there, and then I'm walking back down here, playing to where I was stood to play that putt from up there. So I'm imagining playing to where I was. Thinking of it as in stages, but of course we've got to maintain the overall view of the putt here for the distance. I've got a worm cast in front, we're not allowed to remove those, so I've got a worm cast there, I've got to go left of that worm cast as well. Just got to commit, and just commit to the stroke, get it up that slope first.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Really happy with that. If I was being super critical, ultra critical of myself, I started it a bit too straight, a bit to the right, but it's finished 2.5, 3 foot away, so I'm over the moon, to be honest with that.
I'll give you that one, Marcus.
Can't be unhappy with that.
I'll give you that one.
I actually want the satisfaction, because I've played that hole, to be fair. I always think it's good to tap in, and a lot of guys, I think it's good practice to tap in, even 2-3 footers, because how many of those do we miss when it matters? I mean, obviously if someone gives you a putt, you take it away in match play, but when you're just playing with your mates or on your own, hole out, just get used to holing out, because when it matters, then you're used to it. That 2.5 foot putt is just as valuable as that big Hollywood shot that I played. Both on the scorecard have the same value. So just get used to holding it out and appreciate every shot has the same value.
I'm gonna have to channel Michael Jordan and come in clutch when it matters. Just straightened out on this bit here, but it's okay. I'll take a tap in for a par, even if it means I do lose the hole.
Well played, unlucky George. Well played, mate. It was a thanks, well done. That's tactically swinging back and forth, but what was underpinning that was decision making. It was like having the options, and that's through experience
and awareness,
playing, and doing it on the golf course week in, week out. So you can be actually adopting that same process when you play every day. You can be using that same same routine, the same kind of approach. So you're actually just refining how you're thinking all the time. You're improving your golf swing mechanics on the golf course because you're cueing and referencing that way. And you're also thinking with clarity and committing and playing with more intention. And all these things in combination will have a significant impact on how you play and improving how you play.
And you can build confidence if you're just out, as Marcus referenced earlier, when he played that incredible shot high left to right over the trees. As he was saying, but this is a really important point. As he was saying, if he was in a medal or a different scenario in match play or something like that, he might not play that shot. But given that we're out here just having some fun, really, he's going to take it on. And that might be a good idea for you to do, is if you're going out playing by yourself, be a bit bolder. You know, if you've got a scorecard in your hand, you're always aware of that and you're going to kind of manage that, and that's fantastic. It's all about score when you've got a scorecard in your hand. But actually, being out there just with a couple of mates, having a friendly match or by yourself practicing, and just being a bit bolder and taking on the shots that you just wouldn't with an important scorecard in your hand, and you build confidence and reference and awareness with that, maybe you will do it when it matters in a big match.
Brilliant. Thanks,
On to
George.
the next.
Thanks, guys. We're off to the bar and George is getting the round in.
Nothing new there.
See you later, guys.